We'll start with another poem, The Soul Selects Her Own Society. Before starting this one, I just want to refer to the previous one we've covered this week. Much madness is divinest sense. As we discussed, the theme of this poem is that either you'd be physically free, but in that way you have to forget about all your beliefs, all your individuality, and just follow the mainstream. If you wanted to be your own self, okay, this means that you'll be present with these beliefs forever, because you confronted the majority, you're against the majority, you're against what is prevailing. So in that sense, you have to be confined, you have to be controlled, you have to be handled with chains, because now you're dangerous. You're a dangerous mind to the majority. If the majority is confronted by many people who show different opinions, this is really dangerous. They cannot prevail. They cannot pursue the control they want over the masses, over the majority of the people. Okay, so let's see how this poem is related to the other one. As we said also here, that this is an evidence, this poem is a kind of evidence to show the reason why Emily Dickinson has chosen to live on her own. Okay, she was always being accused of being mad. Because of her revolutionary ideas, because of the way she thinks, the way she puts words, the way she expresses her ideas. She was just an outgoing person, attending all family meetings and gatherings and social interactions, until she felt that she cannot be herself anymore. She wanted to be herself, but she's confronted by what is prevailing in the society. So she wrote this poem in a very submissive tone to show how she regards everything, how she knows that she's different, and that's why she has to be physically present in order to be mentally free. Because it's the other way around. If she wants to mingle with the society, she has to imprison her own personality, to imprison her own beliefs. But let's see how this poem is relating or relates to the one that we will discuss today. The soul selects her own society. From the very beginning, from the title, we can guess the meaning of the poem. The topic at least. So the topic is like just a word that, or an idea that the whole poem revolves around. So the soul selects her own society. It's about the selective ability, the selective characteristic of the soul. The soul is selective in choosing with whom she wants to be socialized with. So this is the topic of the poem. If we want to tell about the theme, we just need to read across the poem to recognize the theme of the poem. So the soul selects her own society, then shuts the door. To her divine majority, present no more. Unmoved, she notes the chariots pausing at her low gate. Unmoved, an emperor be kneeling upon her mat. I've known her from an ample nation, choose one, then close the valves of her attention like stone. We can get the idea that the soul is very selective in choosing her companions. She would choose a few, okay, then shuts the door. The soul is very determined. The soul is very stubborn in choosing with whom she wants to mingle with, to socialize with. And we can guess and see how determined and stubborn the soul is with the evidence we have here. then shuts the door. Shutting the door is something final. Okay? Present no more means she would not introduce anyone, any more people into her attention, into her life, okay, except the one she selects. Type. The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door. To her divine majority, present no more. As we discussed in Much Madness is Divine in a Sense, we know the concept of the majority here. The majority prevails, the majority rules, right? Type. Here, there are different interpretations for the meaning of the word majority. To her divine majority, here she gave herself this characteristic of the majority. What she believes in will prevail. Okay, she is now in control of her life, the same way the majority is controlling the outside world. Now, this is the majority. The soul is the majority, okay, that will decide who will be present in her life, and who would be outside the door, who will step into her life, and who would be an outsider. She would be unmoved, okay, even to have an emperor kneeling upon her doorstep. Even if the chariots mean like carriages, those carriages that carry royal people or emperors or nobles. So she won't be moved if she has seen the chariots pausing at her low gate. She said low gate to refer to her nature as a commoner. She's just a commoner. She's not of royal like blood. So even if it's an emperor kneeling at her doorstep, she won't be moved. Her soul won't be moved to allow anyone in except those whom she selects to be in her life. Like, from these evidence, we can see, these pieces of evidence, we can see how stubborn and determined the soul is. The soul will shut the door to anyone except the one chosen. The door will present no more, because it's now it's the soul's divine majority rule, okay, that will like be the law here. Okay, she represents, the soul represents the majority in her own life. Okay, the majority is really powerful in the outside world, and the majority in her own life, okay, it's also powerful to the extent of shutting everyone out, okay, of presenting no more, of being unmoved to any temptations of the outside world. Even the highest ranking people won't be admitted. I've known her from an ample nation, choose one. So she knows her soul, she knows herself very well. From an ample nation, from like a great number of people. Ample means like great or enormous. So from an enormous group, okay, she would choose only one. Then close the valves of her attention like stone. Here, and she will shut her attention to the rest of the people, and she will be firm as stone. As you can see here, valves is like a kind of like a tap that would regulate the flow of a liquid in a pipe, or like between two spaces. So like a tap, like a valve, okay, she will close her attention, shut her attention to the rest of the people. And she's like stone. So here we have a metaphor, okay, valves of her attention, and we have a simile, like stone, okay. The soul would act like stone to the rest of the people after admitting those whom she will be socialized with, whom she will be connected with, okay, the soul will act like stone. So the word stone is very firm, it's very rigid, It shows how final, how resolute the soul is in taking this decision. So here we can see that this poem acts as a defense poem to the previous one, Much Madness is Divine Essence. Okay, now she's defending her poem in choosing this kind of life she has taken. We can see clearly that this poem is written by an introvert. Okay, some person who has chosen to be socially restricted. Okay, and this is just a voluntary decision, voluntary decision. This is something that she has chosen because she wants to be mentally free. Okay, so she preferred to be physically imprisoned but mentally free. But she would be physically imprisoned with the ones she likes, the ones she selects. Okay, not the ones imposed by the society, not the ones with the higher ranks. Okay, not the ones with charming backgrounds or charming atmosphere. Okay, she choose the ones she believes would suit like her character. And then she will close the valves of her attention like stone. She will shut the door. She will present no more. She would be unmoved, okay, to all temptations. Okay, type. We can see in this poem also the use of dashes, as we said before. The use of dashes in Emily Dickinson poetry is like a main feature, as well as capitalization. We can see weird capitalization used in the middle of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. So here we can see the soul, the society, the door, majority, chariots, gate, emperor, mat. So all the words that represent like a powerful idea, okay, are capitalized to show their importance and to emphasize the effect of using these words. Because as you can see now, for the third poem now, there is like lots of meaning given in the minimum amount of words. So each word really counts. She has this like talent of using minimum amount of word and to express deep meaning. So when we see the use of the dashes, we can see that dashes here would work as like bridges between ideas to show the connection between ideas, to let the reader take his time getting the idea from line to line. So they work as pauses for that she wants the reader to take in order to grasp, okay, what she has written. Like in Much Madness is Divine Essence, also we can guess that the pauses or the dashes used are to give pauses rather for the reader to think, okay, how conflicting these ideas are. Much Madness is Divine Essence to a discerning eye. Much sense, the starkest madness. So here it's paradoxical. The poem is paradoxical, and she wants the reader to be a little bit slow in order to get all these conflicting ideas. So each use of dashes is specific to the meaning of the specific particular poem. So here we can see that they work as dashes, as pauses, as I said. Sorry, just a minute. Okay. Pauses between ideas as bridges. Okay. And capitalization works to give effect to the words used. Type. If we look at the analyze text questions, the poet uses the phrase "shuts the door" in the poem. What does she mean by it? How does it affect the tone of the poem? Type. The word "shuts" the words shuts the door are direct and absolute, as we said, to show this nature of the soul, that the soul is very firm, direct, absolute, stubborn in the way she decides things. So the soul takes this decision, okay, and this decision is really firm and uncompromising by any means, okay, that the soul would close her attention, okay, with most of the world except for those whom she chosen. So the tone or the attitude conveyed by the words is really firm and somber, very really firm and stubborn. What the second question? In the second stanza, the narrator repeats the word unmoved. Who's unmoved? What is the effect of repeating the word? Repetition always gives an emphasis. So here the repetition reinforces the sense that the soul is distant. The soul is distant and detached. The soul is distant and detached from the whole world except for those whom she has chosen. The soul is not influenced by the outside temptations, by the outside forces. Okay, the soul won't change her mind by any means. So this is the effect of the repetition, reinforcement that the soul is really distant and detached. The soul is determined. It won't be affected by any temptations of the outside world. She won't change her mind, whatever happened. This was the explanation for the Soul Selects Her Own Society and the relation between this poem and Much Madness is Divinest Sense. Hope you like the poem.